your brain, you're in the nerds domain. Come on in, it's about to begin.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Nerds Domain podcast. This week, I am sitting with Dean Shaw of Epic Productions, and we're going to talk about his Kickstarter, The Taste of Revenge. It's a spaghetti western feature film. Hi, Dean. How you doing?
Very well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being on. I got a couple of standard questions I ask everybody, and then we'll get into your project. In the impending zombie apocalypse, what is your weapon of choice?
Oh, good question.
Yeah.
That is a good question. I think it would be either a baseball bat or an axe.
No, those are good choices.
I'd probably go for I don't know. I'd probably go for the axe, to be honest, because that's quite bloody and gory. So I'd probably go for that one. You know.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Given all of the sci-fi that you know, what planet do you most want to visit?
I quite liked Mars in the original Total Recall.
Okay.
And then it all starts falling apart, and we realise that there's more than meets the eye. But I liked that up until that point, and I'm trying to think back to all the old Star Trek Next Generation ones where they used to go to these weird and wonderful planets, and there used to be nothing but women there. But I can't remember any of those names, so I'd probably have to stick with Mars for the time being, and then when the name of those planets come to me, I'll jump in with that one. But probably between those two, that'd be the ones.
Okay, all right. Well, let's start off with kind of your sales pitch. What are you doing with The Taste of Revenge, and why do you have such a passion for this kind of project?
Right. Well, the Taste of Revenge is going to be a spaghetti western that will be shot entirely in Spain, like they were done 30-odd years ago by the likes of Sergio Leone, sort of Clint Eastwood, Charles Bronson. All these sort of Hollywood legends now went off and done these spaghetti westerns, which were much more grittier, had a sort of European flair to them compared to the American westerns that were shot at the time. So I'm trying to rejuvenate that sort of genre and make a really gritty western that's going to be more character driven, and try and steer away from the usual Hollywood films that we're seeing at the moment, which seem to be very visual effects, very comic book at the moment, and just try and go back a little bit and see if we can make a little bit more grit. So
okay.
That's the plan. That's the plan for the spaghetti western. Yeah.
So you're going to return to, like, the flavor of the classics.
Yes, that's what I'm going to try and do. I mean, you've obviously got to cater for the modern audience, but without ruining the whole genre entirely, you've still got to maintain what made those films great, but then also sort of look at the modern audience's tastes and what they're expecting from a film. I don't think you can get away with having maybe a 3-minute take like maybe Sergio Leone did in a Once Upon a Time in the West, where you just have the camera fixed. I don't think audience will get that. They won't understand why you've done that. So you'll have to sort of cut it a bit quicker, but you'll still have that gritty sensation that you got with the old spaghetti westerns.
Okay. And tell us a little bit about yourselves. What kind of experience do you have with film and production? Well,
my job is a director for commercials. I do a lot of commercials for mainly motorsport, ironically. So instead of using cars, I'm going to be using horses. But normally it's the Formula One I've done, adverts for that are shown throughout cinemas and on the TVs. I do a lot of work for small manufacturers such as Toyota, glossy sort of shots where you probably spend 2 months or so talking about the actual shoot, then you're there for 2 days, and then you spend another 2 months talking about how you're going to get how edited to how the client wants it. So a lot of talk and not a lot of action, and I sort of want to switch that around and do more action.
And do you have a film degree or?
No. I mean, pretty much it's self-taught, and I've been a bit lucky, I guess. I started off doing small web commercials for my friends' companies, and then I done a documentary for a friend of mine called Gavin Halls, and he was doing a race at Brands Hatch in England. He was racing these single-seater racing cars. And when he went back to his day job, everyone was like, I've seen your documentary, it's amazing, who is this guy? And he started saying, oh, you can get hold of him, he's easy to find. And then slowly but surely all these sort of jobs started coming in and more opportunities came. And I just sort of rode the wave and went from doing small web commercials that lasted 30 seconds that went on people's websites and on YouTube, a few documentaries, and then went right up to commercials and ones that are now shown in many different countries and many different cinemas around the world.
Okay.
So
it sounds like not necessarily a full degree, but you've done this for a while and you've got a good handle on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't bluff your way. You have to you learn the hard way. You make a mistake, and you know you'll never make that mistake again, and you just keep moving forward and sort of developing your skills and pushing the boundaries a little bit more.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I'm looking at your Kickstarter page. It looks like you're asking for £174,000, which translates to about $281,000 in American.
That's a lot of money, I know.
It's a lot of money, but it looks like you've got it broken down, and you've got a good budget here, kind of showing where everything's going and what exactly you're doing with it. So it looks like your expertise with shooting commercials is probably coming in handy here. Yeah, and you won't end up going way over budget or anything like that.
No, because you kind of realise, once you've done it a few hundred times almost, but you kind of realise what things are going to cost just by looking at the page, and you can say, right, well, that shot there would be a great shot if we had the money, but if we don't, then we can do it this way. And that's kind of the way we've looked at it. Instead of spending maybe a day having some elaborate crane shot that comes down over the town, why don't we just have the camera follow the rider as he comes straight in, like on maybe a steady cam, and he jumps off and he walks straight in, and that way you've done it all in one, but you've saved yourself around about $3,000 in the process. And if you apply that logic every day, and you have to call in a few favors. You have to call in people that you've worked with before and say, look, can you spare 2 weeks, 1 week, 4 weeks, and we'll feed you and we'll put you up somewhere. It won't be great, but we'll put you up somewhere. Would you do it for us for nothing? And they're like, yeah, of course. It's a Western. Nobody's ever done a Western that I know of. So it's kind of like, they might not want to do a second one with me, but the first one, everybody's wanting to jump on and say, yeah, I'll do that for nothing. So that's saved us a lot of money, yeah.
And it looks like you've got pledge levels anywhere from £5 all the way up to £5,000. So you've got a lot of different options there. And at the higher end, it looks like you're going to let people, if I'm seeing this right, you're going to fly people out and have them on the set to do a speaking part.
That's right.
Is that right?
Yeah. That one there won't make us a lot of money, but it'll certainly be a lot of fun for people. If you wanted to get into a movie, if you wanted to get into do a speaking part in the role in the film, and it's one of those roles that you just want to say, I just want to have a few lines in there, and then that's it, my bit done. This is a perfect pledge for you, and we'll fly them out. It won't be first class. It won't even be business class. it may well be in cargo, but if it is, we'll give you some sandwiches. And then once they've flown out here, we're going to sit them down. We're going to give them some dialogue which they'll be comfortable with, and we'll just let them hang out and see how we're going to shoot it, and really get to grips with the whole process and have their moment to shine, so they can say, yep, that was me. I was the bartender. I was the sheriff. I was the blah, blah, blah. And that's my 15 seconds of fame in a motion picture. So yeah,
okay.
We try and get people involved in it. I wanted people to. There's a couple more on there where they get a prop from the film, or even some spent ammo from the gunfight at the very end. Every Western has to end with a massive gunfight. It can't just be that they shake hands and go, let's forget about it. It has to end in a bloody gunfight. And there's going to be lots of blanks fired, and we're going to collect them all up and we're going to send them out to everybody who's pledged that certain amount, along with the poster and all the other bits and pieces. So they'll actually have some spent ammo from the actual gunfight at the very end. So there's some cool things on there that I thought, well, if I saw that, I would pledge because I'd want something like that.
Yeah, and when we started looking at your Kickstarter to do this for, one of my researchers said, well, if a lot of people back at that, does that make the gunfight at the end even bigger? So what do you think?
yeah, exactly. Well, I recently saw 310 to Yuma, is it 310?
Mm-hmm.
I always get it confused. Yeah, and I was just like, that is a gunfight. That is a great one where he gets all of the townsfolk together and says, look, if you kill this guy, we'll give you this much money. And what he then realises is that, they're shooting indiscriminately at anybody, and the likelihood is they're going to shoot Russell Crowe by accident. So he then starts shooting the people that are shooting at Russell Crowe and Christian Bale. And I just thought, that's a great gunfight. It's moving, it's fluid, and if I can recreate something not identical, you never want to copy something, but if you create a fluid gunfight like that where many different movements and camera shots are used to capture that energy in there, you're going to be using some serious blanks up. There's going to be some serious amount of lead being flung about. So yeah, I'm aiming for something that big, and as I say, the more money we have, the bigger the gunfight gets. It could be very, very big.
Okay. It looks like there's a couple of levels for people that want to be producers, and there's all kinds of stuff, signed shots and an HD download. So there's all kinds of levels here, lots of different options that kind of allow for any kind of thing that you want to do here. Even the $5 or the £5 donate level is, they still get their name shouted out on Facebook. And that's kind of nice.
Definitely. Not everybody's going to have thousands of pounds or dollars to donate, and I appreciate that. And every donation, every pledge is greatly received, whether it's a small amount and they just say, look, I love your projects, this is as much as I can give. That's great for me, because that means that somebody's actually taken the time to look at the video. They've seen why I'm doing it. They've got on board, and they've actually given an extra 10 minutes of their time to donate and pledge, and then become part of the filmmaking group that we are. Because if you're doing that, you're a filmmaker, whether you're an armchair one or whether you're actually sitting there and pressing the record button on the camera. As far as I'm concerned, if you're helping me get to this stage, we're all filmmakers together. So, the smallest amount is like you say, £5, and that goes right up to executive producer. So sometimes it's almost impossible to get the right money together to make a feature film. And here's an opportunity to have your name credited on IMDb as an executive producer, So it's one of those things that if you're looking to get into the business, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect for it, because it's not a lot of money. It is a lot of money, but it could be a lot more if you had to start from the ground up and produce your own project.
Absolutely. So it looks like you've got 3 weeks left on this. This will go up tonight on the 3rd. So you've got 3 weeks left on this, and ends on the 25th. Once this is complete, and we're all crossing our fingers that you're gonna fund. What do we have from the future from you? Do you have other ideas for another spaghetti western, maybe a sequel if it allows it, or what all do you have in mind?
We've kind of, I've looked at it. I don't want to close the film at the end where people will go, well, that's just going to be one, isn't it? But then I don't want to leave it so that everyone goes, oh, there'll be a second one. I want to leave it that we can come back to it, but if we're going to come back to it, it's going to be a good sequel. I'm now in Spain right now, location hunting, and I am absolutely amazed that this country is not in the cinemas more often, because it is so diverse, from the mountains and the canyons and the prairie, all this sort of open space you've got here. It is very inspirational. So I can see another spaghetti western being made, most definitely, because there's just such a scope visually. It just inspires you just to look at it. So I think there's another spaghetti western. Whether it be a direct sequel to this one, I'm not quite sure. But I'd like to do another one, just to depends on how this one goes. If this one almost kills me, then maybe I might reconsider. I might do like a rom-com or something. But but yeah, this place is amazing. Spain is amazing, and it really needs to be filmed a lot more. I don't think audiences around the world have seen the best of it yet, and I hope to do more for it.
Well, that all sounds great. I'm looking. I like the idea of filming in Spain. I know that it's such a beautiful country, and there is a lot of diversity, especially with a lot of the stuff that they've shot there in the past. So, is there anywhere we can see you in the next year or so? Are you going to any conventions? I don't know of anything that you might go to, but is there anywhere we could find you and see more of what you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, at this moment in time, I've not booked for anything as yet. Normally, we'll do. I've done a few sort of film schools, and when I say small, they're probably only 4 or 5 people where we just get together. We in a day we shoot whether it be a commercial or a music video, and we just try and get using the camera as much as possible. They're sort of ad hoc, and we just put them up, or I put them up, and then about a month later we then go and do them. But I really need to start travelling a bit more. I've got to be honest with you. I've got to be getting out there and meeting people and going to more conventions. I think the problem I have is that when we do commercials, or when I personally do commercials, I generally fly to the Middle East, where I do quite a lot of work, or I've started working more in Europe, but I've never really ventured too far across the pond to America yet. So I need to start to look to there and start to say, right, well, I need to go to this convention or this film festival. Obviously, we've done Rain Dance, and I've been to a few days and supported a few of my friends who have gone elsewhere, just turned up and done it, but not really as my own entity yet. So I need to get out more, I think.
So no exact plans, but you definitely want to move that way.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Is there anything else you can tell us about the project that you haven't hit on? Anything else that you want to plug? Anything at all?
Well, I mean, the project for me, if any of these guys that are listening to this go on Kickstarter and actually press the video, you'll see the reasons why I think it's time for a spaghetti western to re-emerge in cinemas. Distribution now is much more wider. It doesn't have to be go through the main studios. So that's sort of aiding us along. And also this funding platform is helping filmmakers to realise their dreams. For me, on a personal level, I want to make the film because I recently lost my dad. My dad passed away quite suddenly, and it's kind of given me a wake-up call that he got to see some of my commercials and documentaries, but I never got to make a feature film, and that's sort of like that's a sort of a burden I carried. I didn't quite fulfil my potential when he was here to see it, and that's why it's become sort of an all-encompassing mission at the moment to really to get this film made, so I can do that. I can tick that box and say, yep, I've done that. He loved a good western. He also loved a good war film as well, so we could possibly be looking at that one. But yeah, he loved a good western, and I think he'd like this one. And I really just want to do it as much for myself as for him as well. So that's on the personal level. But as I say, I feel the audiences are ready for a spaghetti western. I think it'll be a breath of fresh air. Okay.
Can we catch you? Are you on Twitter or on Facebook? Where can we find you on there?
Yes, I am. I've rejuvenated my Twitter account. I was like one of these many people who signed up for it and then forgot about it. You can find me at The Real Dean Shaw. That's The Real Dean Shaw. And also you can find us on Facebook, The Taste of Revenge. We've got a group and we've got a page as well on there. So it's slowly starting to pick up sort of momentum. So you can see our behind-the-scenes photos. We're starting to do behind-the-scenes videos as well, although they're pretty awful because it's kind of like a last-minute thing. Whilst you're talking to somebody, you think, "Oh, I really should be filming this,"
Yeah.
And then so you quickly get to film it, and then you kind of go, "Oh, we should have filmed more about this," because you're talking to people who are going to ultimately help you, or you're like the other day I was talking to a couple of members who are hope of the cast, and I got to the end of it, and I thought I really could have done with video in the whole thing, but then some of them may or may not be going forward to be actually cast in it, and then that would be unfair for them to be in the behind the scenes, but not yet making into the film. So you got to tread on sort of eggshells with that one. But yeah, there's going to be much more media coming out, particularly in the next 20 days, where we've really got to ramp it up a lot to get to that target.
Okay. I think we can also find you at epicshot.tv. Is that correct?
That's right. That's our website. Epicshot.tv is where we've got a little bit of our show reel from the work we've done previously. And it's also got my email address on there, so if anybody wants to contact me direct, then yeah, it'd be great to hear from people. Yeah, I've had a few people who have emailed me and have offered support, whether it be technical support or a donation. And there's one guy actually in Spain who says I can use his house. So, the support is starting to come in thick and fast. It's quite humbling. I'll be honest with you. It's sort of so many people are starting to warm to the project that it does really sort of strike you and make me feel quite humble, really.
Well, good. You can go to tinyurl.com/tasteofrevenge, and that'll take you right to the Kickstarter. And I have backed the Kickstarter, and I encourage you guys to go look at it. And if you see something you like, and I think you will, I suggest you check out backing it as well. You could be a producer and get your name up on IMDb, all kinds of validly, and I really think it's a great thing. So, Dean, thanks for your time.
No problem. Thank you.
I think that'll do us tonight for Nerds Domain Podcast. You can find us on Twitter @Quiet or on Facebook at facebook.com/nerdsdomain. You can always head over to iTunes and give us a rating, throw some stars up there, and write something down. And you can find our shirts over at tinyurl.com/ndshirts. And we will talk to you guys real soon.